Welcome to a TB Consulting demonstration of data management with Actifio. Today we're going to look at mounting a virtual machine in VMware. Looking at vCenter, we see the machine that we're going to restore called Windows App Server. The server is powered off. In this use case, we are assuming that the virtual machine has crashed and that we need to spin up a new instance to take this server's place. Another use case might be that we want to spin up a new instance in order to restore a file that maybe we've trashed, or maybe it's an application that's not working. We want to take a look at it before it stopped working. So we can go back in time and look at the application and find out what went wrong. In the Actifio desktop, we will open up the application manager that will show us the virtual machines that are being protected. We identify the server that we want to restore, which is our Windows App Server. Going to the Restore tab, we will be able to see the images that have been created while we've been protecting this virtual machine. In our lab environment, we have 2 images created on 2 different days. If your retention policy is to keep 7 daily snapshots, then you would see 7 images available to restore. In this case, we're going to restore the most recent backup of the server. Click on the gear icon and in the drop-down box choose Mount. We then put in the criteria needed to restore the VM. Choose a label for this action. We're going to call it Windows App Server 2. And then we're going to choose to mount this as a new virtual machine. So we select New VM. And then we're going to select the host that we're going to mount this to. We're going to name the VM, and this will be the actual name of the machine that is mounted. Then we're going to choose which vCenter we're going to mount it to. And when we do that, then we'll get a choice of the available hosts in that vCenter. It also will list the data stores, and we can choose which data store we want to mount the VM in. Leave the setting for VRDM, and then we're ready to mount the machine. Once we click Mount, we are taken directly to the System Monitor desktop. System Monitor will show us that our mount action is running, and it will tell us what percentage of the mounting action is complete. Mounting a VM will take less than a minute regardless of the size of the virtual machine, because we are not copying the entire file system. We are just letting VMware know where to look for it. When the mount is completed, you'll see it disappears from System Monitor, and if we want to take a look to make sure it was successful, we click on the Succeeded status to verify that it mounted successfully. If we want to see the details of the job, we click on the job name, and then we click the View Details button up in the upper right-hand corner. This is especially handy if for some reason the job failed. By clicking the View Details button, we'll be able to get an error code and a description of the error, which can help us in troubleshooting why the mount might have failed. So now if we go back over to vCenter, we will actually see our new virtual machine listed there, Win App Server 2. It is now a normal virtual machine just like any other. We can edit the settings, we can perform any other actions we might like, or we can go ahead and get it started. Looking at the console of the virtual machine, we will see that it's going through the normal startup. One thing to remember is that you can mount a virtual machine as a permanent replacement for the protected server, or as a temporary restore that can be unmounted just as easily as we just mounted this one. Our virtual machine is now up and running, so we can log in and take a look at the machine to make sure that everything has come up right. You'll notice that the network adapter is not connected. The default action when you mount a VM is that the network adapter is disconnected. This prevents you from starting a VM that might cause an IP conflict if you're mounting a snapshot alongside the original server. We can go into vCenter, edit the settings to connect the network adapter, and then make sure that it also connects on startup. Now when we go back to the server and take a look at the network share, we'll see that we can connect to it and see the files that are there. You'll also see we got the pop-up asking us to connect devices. So now our virtual machine is up and running. It is now running like a regular server. If this is a temporary mount, we can perform our tasks and then unmount the VM. If this is to be a permanent replacement, we can then vMotion the VMDK file if we need to. If not, it can operate right where it's at. We hope this has been informational and that you've been able to get an idea of how easy it is to mount a virtual machine in VMware with Actifio.